views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
They are a vibrant, dynamic, and talented group of Bronx teens and preteens, and they're being mentored by their extraordinary director who's giving them a path to success through music. Stay tuned to find out what this youth center has been doing for the past 14 years for at-risk youth of the Bronx and how you can be a part of it. That's coming up on this edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Daren Jaime.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know. Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives with yours truly, Daren Jaime. I'm so glad to have you sharing with us today. And as always, we invite you to stay connected to us here on Perspectives. How do you do that? Well, you can watch us every week here on BronxNet Channel 67, or you can catch us on the web, or you always know social media. You got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us. Stay connected to us. That's what we want to do. And as you share with us, you know, maybe you want to see something or maybe you want to hear something or comment on something. Hey, just do it, and you never know. It might make it right here to the show. But coming up on this edition of Perspectives, the Bronx. Well, it's one of the United States' poorest congressional districts. Failing schools and limited educational resources have led to youth becoming more disengaged with positive activities. The devastating result is now that we have the highest dropout rate in all of New York City. But with all that negative image, I am pleased to be joined by the director of the Renaissance Youth Center and members of this Bronx-based dynamic and talented group who are on a mission to changing that image as well as helping young people in the Bronx find a more positive and successful path. Mr. Bervin Harris and members of his youth council are going to come to this show. And right now we've got Bervin, and congratulations and good to have you.
Thank you, man. Good to be here. I'm gonna shake
Again,
your I'm gonna shake your left hand.
Shake my left, man.
Because your right hand is a little bandaged
weak
up
right
there.
now. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's doing all right though. But listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
14 years, right?
Actually, 17 years
17?
now. Yeah.
And things are just on the upswing, huh?
Things are on the ups, and I was listening to you speak just a second ago, which you speak so well, by the way, my friend.
Thank you.
And
bro.
you've been doing this a long time as well. But to say that we are still the poorest congressional district and we have the highest dropout rates is almost like it's disturbing, right? So why are we still the poorest congressional district, and why do we still have the highest dropout rates? At some point, we have to figure out who do we hold accountable for that. And yes, we should always start with self-inventory of ourselves, but sometimes some of these leaders in which we pick and choose maybe should not be our leaders.
Right.
But that's probably another conversation.
For another day, right?
But what you talked about is that, yes, we are trying to cause some change. And some of that change is just how we view ourselves, right? So, like, we are not poor. We are not shiftless. We are not lazy. We're not irresponsible people. We are just people who have not been given an opportunity or have been not given a vision or a glimpse of our shall be of what we can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that Renaissance tries to do right now. So instead of focusing all that negative stuff, which
Right.
is still important to know, but what can we do with what we have? And that's been our approach here lately.
So you're grabbing young people and you're taking them in, and talk to me about your particular group right here that we're going to hear in a little while.
Right.
My son says it like this. He always says, he comes in the room, he says, Dad, I like their energy. I like the energy.
Right.
I like their energy.
Right. I love the energy too. And that's the thing that we're trying to like really showcase. It's not so much the music and the notes that we sing and the notes that we play, but it's that spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's that aura. It's that facade that we carry. And that facade and energy they have is that I am somebody. That I am talented. I am a good-looking person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am a smart individual. And that is contagious.
Right.
If you hang around that long enough, you start thinking that, man, I look kind of good too, right? So
Right.
that's what we're trying to do, man, more than anything else. And that group right there, I call them our windows to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what they have become for us. We did Good Morning America a couple of weeks ago. They've been in Lincoln Center about a month ago, Carnegie Hall. We're at Yankee Stadium this Thursday. We're at BronxNet today.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. And you don't tell me that doesn't change the life of a young person when you get the opportunity to expose them to that kind of environment.
Yeah, there's a saying that people die from a lack of vision, but it's really exposure, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
So you're giving them the opportunity to have this kind of exposure.
Yes.
Walk us through what happens when somebody comes into your center and participates.
Sure. You walk in and you turn around and you look and you say, I never knew this place was here. That's the first thing people say. And then we walk them through all 3 floors now. So it's pretty amazing. We have an after-school latchkey program. We actually have multiple sites for that. So if you want to get your kids involved in that, we have it. We have a basketball program. We have soccer. We have a summer camp. We have a zoology department that is second to none. So imagine what you got to come. First of all, you haven't been.
I haven't been.
And I'm letting everybody know he has not been.
All right, that's it. Cut.
I'm putting you on blast.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
You got to come, man.
Oh.
Imagine you walk into a room and you have 2 trees growing, fake trees in the room. They look really real. And then you got snakes and iguanas and fish and hydropon and aquapons. And then kids start to ask questions. And we know that's what scientists do. Scientists ask questions. And so by doing that, because we all learn differently. Some of us learn by reading through our books and retain the information. And some of us got to blow up some stuff. Some of us got to tear up some things, right? And so we have kids now who know all about nitrate level and acid level and pH level. Why? Because they're in this room that they can actually put their hands on, right? We have a robotics program, which is the same thing. We got young kids who are in 4th and 5th grade getting involved in robotics. We're getting ready to introduce new technology, which is developing apps. Come on, I feel like I'm in a game now. We're developing, no coding. Right?
Okay, right.
So now we're getting kids involved in coding who are 6th and 7th graders, right? So we're excited about that as well. We have this youth council, which is, we're going to talk a little bit more about them, but this group is amazing. So it's teenagers who represent every precinct in the Bronx. So I don't know if you've ever been to a precinct meeting. There are no teenagers there.
Right.
Right? So you have the older folk who complain about everything, and rightfully so. So I walk in there with teenagers, I feel like I was a zookeeper with gazelles. You know, people looked at me like, are those teenagers in this room?
Yeah.
Right? But they should be there. Why? Because they're the topic of conversation. They're telling people that, people are saying that the teenagers are hanging outside of our building, making all these noises. Or the teenagers are in our lobbies of our buildings, I'm afraid to walk through. But now if the teenager comes to the meeting and says, I too am afraid to walk in that building. Or I hang out in the lobby because guess what? There's no rec centers for us to go to. Now it changes the conversation. So we have that program as well for young people to get involved in. And we have music classes. We're everywhere. We have a program called Music on Wheels. We're now in 36 different schools in all 5 boroughs except for Staten Island. Staten Island, we love you, just a little far. We love you though. So we go to all the different schools that don't have music programs and we teach music.
And you have a partnership with the police department, right?
Absolutely.
So talk about that real quick.
Right, so that partnership is deprived of, first of all, just building relationships, right? But also that youth council that we talked about, attending every precinct meeting, we've been able to overturn a 120-year-old bylaw that state that young people could not serve on the committee. And now that's been overturned, that young people 16 and above can now serve on that committee. So we attend those meetings, number one, but also they help fund some of the stuff that we do now. So we're doing this whole thing called Youth Connect, and we have cameras and stuff out there capturing the story. Now how a teenager captures the story is gonna be different than how you and I capture it.
Right.
So they were able to give me some cameras, big ups to NYPD, give me some cameras, and it helped me to employ some young people to go out there and capture the story of how they see the change in their community.
What do you think the result has been in doing all this?
I think the result, and you touched on it a little bit, right? So part of it is exposure. If I expose you to something, then it changes how you view things, right? The other thing is relationships, sustainable relationships. So by us having exposure to sustainable relationships, I think what we've been able to do is change the lives of many. So there used to be a time where our kids weren't going to college. Not only are they going to college, they're going away to college, which I'm shedding a tear because I don't get a chance to see them, because a lot of them don't come back. They come back and they spread their wings and elsewhere because once again they realize that I am somebody and I got a glimpse of what I can possibly be, and I'm going to let those things grow here, wherever I may be. So yeah, what we're receiving as a return on our investment is seeing these young people get out and get a glimpse of their shall be and become something in society, a law-abiding citizen with something positive to offer. So
listen, I want you to stay with us because coming up, we're going to talk more with Bervin, but we're going to also bring some of the young people right here on the set, and you're going to have an opportunity to talk to them, hear a little bit about the music, and hear them perform. Stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
got a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. They're the ones scared of. It's very sad no more love. All that I can do was remember you. You know I usually say no, but if you throw me love, I'll throw you some more.
When we talk about the borough of the Bronx, we've got a lot to deal with. Some things are going wrong, but we've got some great things happening and some good things that are going in the right direction. And so Mr. Bervin Harris comes here and joins us a little bit more with the Renaissance Youth Center. He's the president and CEO, but also I want to let you know about Music with a Message. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. But we were talking a little bit. I want to introduce this lovely panel that we've got here. And so we've got Beatrice and Jessica Cardona. They're here with us. And Damata Lee.
Yeah.
Alvarado. See, I got the names right. We were having this thing offset about whether or not I get the names right. I got it right. And so good to have you guys coming and sharing. And so as we were talking in the last segment, talking a little bit about youth involvement and actually being connected and a part of the youth council. And you shared a little bit about the youth council, the difference it's making.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I feel like I'm on Brady Bunch right now because these guys are backing me. But Damati, to the right of me, can talk a little bit about what is Youth Council since she is the president.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes. So Youth Council is basically a group of young adults, young teens from the ages of 13 to 24. And we represent youth that does not have a chance to voice their opinion on change or what they want in the community, or just have a voice in general and they can't express themselves. So we're that voice.
So how does it feel, first of all, being a young person and being able to have that voice that actually can resonate with adults and community?
It feels very life-changing in terms of, like, I didn't think that I was able to have this voice. Because growing up, you see so many things. So you start to wonder, like, okay, well, there's already big things happening. How can I get involved? How can I have my voice heard? How can I have a chance to speak up and say, well, I want to do this too? Or is there a way that I can get involved because I want to be part of it?
Well, Damata Lee speaks, and now we're going to turn it over. Talk to me, because we got Youth Connect coming up, right? And so for people who don't know about Youth Connect, share with us a little bit about Youth Connect.
Hi, Youth Connect is basically a 5-borough tour led by Renaissance Youth, and it's basically showcasing what it's like for teens to be positively involved in their communities. And we're doing things like music, dance, stuff that they like, so that we can basically, he likes to say, hook them and cook them. So we can lure them in with our talent and then basically show them what it's like to be law-abiding citizens and positively being involved in their communities.
Right.
And it's good to be. How do you feel being on tour? First of all, I mean, it's five boroughs and going around. Yeah.
It's amazing to see the different audiences and how they perceive the energy that we give. Like we were talking a lot about what it means, like to be in Youth Connect and stuff like that. For me, it's just showing other teens what it's like to have this confidence that I can stand up for what I believe in, and I can be a positive role model to other youth. So, yeah.
And talk to us about that, because, you know, when you talk about being involved in a group, you know, sometimes you get a little nervous, but it seems like you guys have this wonderful energy. You're all together, and there's this vibe here.
Yes, this is like so important, and I feel like it's so important that other youth understand and really grasp the message that Youth Connect is trying to show to all 5 boroughs. It's like it can be anybody, it can be you, it can be all of us. And excuse me, I feel like us as teens, we sometimes feel like we are alone and we can't speak up for ourselves. And I feel like when other teens look at us and they see us like smiling and vibing with each other and dancing and just talking, having conversations, being socially interactive, I feel like that's where the teens need to see that.
The others need to see it, right?
Yes, they just need to see
right
it.
On it, right on it.
And grasp that energy and try to spread love.
Right. So as we talk a little bit about, we're gonna hear music with a message in a few minutes,
Yes,
right? And I know there's a couple of songs that you guys are gonna be performing now. I want to talk about one. I know A Mother's Cry.
Right. So Mother's Cry, and I'll put it to you this way, Daren. A lot of us get caught up in the moment. This isn't a young person's thing. This is a us thing, right? So when I sit back and I hold the trigger and I point that trigger and I pull it, I affect your life immediately because I take your life. But then I also affect your mother, your father, because they can't see their baby boy. If you got kids, I affect your children's life. But I also affect your shall be. So if you're 15 years old and I pull the trigger and I kill you at 15, who knows what you could have been at 25? Same thing. So I pull the trigger, it also affects my life because now I'm going to jail. And my mom and my dad can't be with their baby boy, but I also affect my shall be. Who knows what I could have been at 25, 35. So this song called Mother's Cry helps to raise that consciousness that we don't get caught up in the moment and we do these heinous crimes, whether it's with a knife, whether it's a gun, whether it's with our fists. But we're suggesting that you think about not just yourself, but others that surround you and what you can possibly be. Don't get caught up in that moment.
Before we go to break, I want to get you an opportunity to tell people, how do they get connected? If they're watching, they got a young person, want to get connected, what do they do?
Well, RenaissanceYouth.org, that's the first thing, right? RenaissanceYouth.org. You can also get us on Instagram, we're on Twitter, so all the social media outlets, we're there. I also want to say that this is not just a hangout. When she was talking about youth council, these guys have done things from park cleanups. We had a slaughterhouse in our community, and we're not against slaughterhouses. You know, so that's where you go and you get a fresh rabbit in your soup.
Right.
You know, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But the slaughterhouse in our community, they had blood on the streets. There was defecation on the street. It smelled like you would not believe. These guys went out and got 8,000 signatures signed and brought them under compliance. In our community, we painted a park a colorful park. Because usually in the city, it's always what? Brown or gray.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. So we said, hey, we'll buy the paint. So we went out and we bought the paint with our own money and we painted the park. And so every 2-3 years, we redo the painting of the park. So those are the kind of things that these young people are doing. But this is just the Bronx. It can happen all over the city with the right kind of leadership and the right kind of exposure, things that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Right. So Youth Connect events, let's go again. It's got about tours happening, 5 boroughs.
Yes.
I think we got the flyer up on the screen, and we'll
Yes,
throw the graphic up real quick.
tonight when we're setting up for Harlem tonight. We're in Harlem today at Jackie Robinson Park. Next week we're in Staten Island, and the big one's going to be at Mullally Park in the Bronx. I think that's on August 22nd.
Right. And so we're looking forward to that. All right, so listen, stay with us. You guys are going to do something a little different. You're going to bring a whole crew with you, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be some singing, there's going to be some playing, and we're going to get to hear. And then we're going to talk a little bit more. So thanks a lot.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys coming by. All right, listen, stay with us. Got more show. You're going to hear music with a message. They're taking it to the stage. The music's about to happen coming up after this.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
And we are back here on Perspectives. And yes, music with a message. And I want to let you know this lovely group, vibrant group of young ladies will now perform Lovely Day. Stay with us.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something with that morning, love, bears heavy on my mind.
Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me, yeah. Said I took just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, yeah.
A lovely day. A lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, and someone else instead of me always seems to know the way. Then I look at you, and the world alright with me. Yeah, yeah, not to just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, yeah. 1, 2, 3, a lovely day. A lovely day. A lovely day.
I want you to know it is a lovely day, and Music with a Message. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here on Perspectives. Got more music, more show right after this.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable, and with you when you had your heart broken. They were with you when you shared your love with the world, and with you when she became your world. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them?
You don't know my name.
Hey, we are back here on Perspectives. Now, we were just talking about this in the last segment, and so you're going to get to hear it right now. This is A Mother's Cry coming from Music with a Message. Now, before they go ahead and sing, want to let you know, as they sing, we're going to close out the show. Want to tell you thank you for watching Perspectives. As always, we try to bring you the best, the brightest that we have in our borough and beyond. So for all of us here on the set of Perspectives, I'm Daren Jaime saying take care, God bless. But right now, I want you to tune yourself up to get ready to hear A Mother's Cry from Music with a Message. Ladies, take it away.
My baby Maria lost her life just yesterday. She was laughing and smiling the last time I saw her face. And as a single parent, I worked hard to pay the bills and feed your 2 jobs. But you were still shot and killed over the same things that I worked over. See, I've been trying to carry on, but it's been hard. But now my baby girl is gone from the bullet of a gun. I lost my baby, my poor daughter.
And the mother cried. And the mother cried, yeah.
It's a sad, sad day in the town of Melrose. And due to gunplay, my baby was taken from me. Yeah. Trying to fill the void of my broken heart. But nothing in this world again can bring back my dear baby, and my heart is numb. Now the pain won't subside. Wish my tears could revive her heart. I wish I could reverse the actions of the trigger. Yeah, if I could change the end of time, and maybe I'd still be with her.
And the father cried.
Baby, I lost my baby.
And the father cried.
I lost my baby, yeah. Haven't seen my sister in 2 weeks. I'm barely breathing, can't sleep, can't eat. My mama almost had a heart attack. Couldn't believe the little girl was gone so fast. Didn't have enough for the funeral. Till daddy broke down. Mama said, keep your cool. I can't somebody bring her back. I'm the only child, can't live with that. Now the only things left are pictures and memories. Someone tell me who's next to die young on these streets. I lost my sister.